So my cutoff date for the beginning of the power exchange, well, it's May 20th into May 20th morning into the 21st. That's my new cutoff date. I've had plenty of dates before. I particularly love May 21st and 22nd. Mainly because, well, in my life, some things have happened that were pretty cool on that day, and mainly just about 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago. The 7th, going into the 8th year. We're gonna go into the 8th year, but you know, almost 8 years ago, I kind of had this major change of heart towards figuring out these, you know, they call them the last days. When you read the Bible, you'll hear that they talk about at the end of the days and the last days with other kings, that the end of those last days is always a change and then a continuance. It's like being destroyed, resurrected type ordeal. A lot of kings, I mean, King Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, Darius, I think even Cyrus, they all had a humbling experience when they were trying to throw, you know, like Daniel, and even when they weren't doing it, it's like their people, they were doing it. They were trying to make up stuff. So yeah, kings have the ability to be humbled by God in an instant. And see, when Daniel goes and prays 3 times one day, like 3 times a day, 3 times 1 is 3, right? So 3 times one day is 3 days. And I'm sure he prayed 3 times a day, each day, times 3. There's all this talk about 3 days of darkness. I don't even know where it's at in the Bible that it says literally 3 days. I think you got to read between the lines. I don't know, but either way, it's not even the 3 days, what people say. I don't know where it is, but I just calculate the other numbers that in between 20th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, well, it is 3 days. And so my cutoff date is May 20th, 21st. So now I go in reverse. And then, obviously, from that point on, 10 days of representing the true 10 days, not the 10 days before that. 10 days after that is the real deal from God. And that's why it represents the 10 days of being tried, being thrown into prison. 10 days before that, you know, the lawsuits and everything will probably be thrown into prison. But it's really 10 days after that. And the same thing with Daniel's buddies. They were thrown into the fire. And this world here with all these images you're going to see, you're going to be thrown in the fire too. And at the same time, you know, you're not going to be singed by fire, because you can't be singed by an image. It's impossible. And then with Daniel being thrown in the lion's den, praying 3 times a day, once he knew that decree was signed. Now, I might have been a little bit ahead with the decree, with the 30 days, maybe. Because it didn't truly land exactly on 30. It was like 33 days when Trump signed the, after he signed the 35 days of the government shutting down, beginning December 21st, which is for 150 days. This is the 5-month period that they are playing out. The locust coming up from the bottomless pit, stinging people like the scorpion, like the scorpion race, and not killing them but hurting them, because they haven't given the authority for them to kill, not yet. And that's the 150-day period, and that lands on May 20th, evening, morning. It's just another connection with that timeline, with Trump and his 35 and his 115 miles of wall. Just add those up, it's 150. It's 5 months. It's these 5 months from December 21st to May 20th, 21st. It's exactly 150 days, and it is 5 months. But see, that really happened. This is what I've been trying to tell the elite. That fifth trumpet, fifth seal, the part where I believe from the 144,000 people back in 2011, from May 21st to October 21st, that 5-month period is when it all happened. One time I thought maybe it happened all in one day, 144, but I think it happened throughout the 5-month period. But see, those 5 months were 153 days. So, because February is landing in this 5-month period, which, you know, subtract those 3 days with the months and everything. So because that's the cutoff date, I go with the 10 days beforehand. The 10 days of the elite's script. Because once the 20th comes and the sun goes down in that direction, and it's showtime, it's showtime. The show time, mainly the show, is when the sun goes down, because it's nothing but darkness, and everybody is going to be looking up to the sky and seeing this. Everybody is going to be thrown in the lion's den. Everybody. Because it's, you know, when you're thrown into a lion's den, it's a dark experience in your life when they take you and throw you into a den of lions. It's dark times. And then it's also the time where, you know, you'll be praying tremendously. And then once God shines his face upon the land that's desolate and rolls up heaven like a scroll, just everything that the Bible says, the elite are going to play out literally, and then God does it right afterwards. Just the way it is. They think, well, man, we could do it first, and we'll just play it out, and we'll be God, and God won't even know what we're doing. Like, yeah, like he didn't know, you know what I mean, that this is exactly what you guys are doing. So anyway, from that 10-day period, well, May 10th, May 11th, are we gonna get bombed? Lukewarm. Because May 1st truly represents the 21 days that Michael stands up. Anyone who is like Mike stands up. Anyone who's like God stands up. And it's like a great harvest starts. But we'll still be stuck. We'll have to withstand the kings of Persia and Media for 21 days. It's just what you have to do. And then after, at the end, at that time, that's when many will awake from the dust. Many will be thrown out of their graves, because when you're shaken to be awoke, you wake the hell up out of your grave, because you're no longer spiritually dead. You're not a walking zombie anymore. So that's why those real 21 days happens starting May 1st to the 21st. And then 21st, 22nd. And then it's the real 10 days after that we're all tried. And it's the real 3 days of darkness. And then, you know, old King Darius, he's going to be fasting and praying the night before. Because Daniel prayed 3 times a day equals 3. For God to shine his face upon the land of desolates. He's praying for God to roll up heaven like a scroll. Roll this crap up. All this crap. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of looking at it. It's disgusting. It's irritating. It is. It's like, it's a depressing look. I'd rather see a fake ass blue sky with a bright ass light bulb in the air with some clouds. I mean, I like the clouds. I like when it has some kind of style to it. This crap here, it's just like lazy, just covering over, because they're up there practicing and testing and doing these images and everything. Because when you can cover the actual sun itself, you can play anything up there. It's a big ass movie screen. That's what they're showing up there. So anyway, those real 10 days, and then the real 21 days, and then the real 40-day period. The real 40-day period starts 3/22 and ends May 1st, and then the 21-day period starts, and then the 10-day period starts, and then at the end of 12 months, old King Nebuchadnezzar, his senses came back to him, and he understood who God was. And because on the 2nd month and the 17th day of the month, according to the Enoch / Harold Camping / Robin T's calendar, that's May 21st. According to Enoch, it's May 24th. So there is a 3-day discrepancy here that I'm fine with it, because it's really close. But that's when the waters will be abated. I mean, the waters will be abated. The gospel is no more, because once the lights are out and everybody in the world sees that America on their television set was completely annihilated, I mean, and then again, we'll just be told that North Korea shot a missile and hit our EMP, and Russia has bombed us from the East Coast, and China, you know, from the West Coast, and the earthquake, and the, you know, California sinking into the ocean. All this good stuff. I'm extremely excited to hear it. I really am. So we're going to hear all that. You know, it's just my vision, just what I see, just my interpretation of how I read the Bible, and how I see the world playing this out. And so that 40-day period, May 22nd, I mean March 22nd, sorry, all the way through April into May 1st. You know, like April, the end of April, the beginning of May, in that area there, like right around morning time. That way you can get the full 21 days. But that period, because I'm praying that my flight is at the end of winter and on Sabbath. I'm praying that my channel does get shut down, because I just want to move on. Like, I'm ready to go to Miami. It's like, as soon as it gets shut down, I realize and understand, okay, well, I am absolutely finished with my testimony then, because I thought I was a few times, but man, I'm glad that I didn't get shut down, because I understood a lot more just this year, especially this year. And that's the purpose of it too. Like, I'm not just trying, like, all right, I gotta pretend that I understand more now, because that's what Daniel did in the first year of the reign of King Darius. And the third year, because the third year, King Cyrus, Daniel had understanding of the vision, and the time appointed was long. It's like many days. It's like 150 days. I understood Trump's timeline, King Cyrus, in at the beginning of this month, February, at the very beginning of it, around there. Because from the 35 days, December 21st to January 25th, the government shutdown, and then him extending it for 21 days, that's when I started to really, really pay close attention to what Trump was saying. So at the end of the 21 days, which was right in the middle of February, so not only like two weeks ago, I understood the time by the number of books, the years, by the books, the number of years by the books. You know, all the books in the Bible. Not gematria, no. Had nothing to do with that. That's not where the 7 seals are. The 7 seals are in the book of Revelation, opening up the seals. And so that's when I started paying attention to Trump, and that's when I heard him talk about the 115 miles of wall, and I connected the dots with the 35 days already. And and then the 150-day period where the scorpion race is coming from the bottomless pit. Everybody's excited. They think they're getting big-time contracts. Just listening to Trump, reading between the lines, listening to Steve, reading between the lines, seeing that both of them are talking about the same thing, just with different words. And I already sensed that that was going to happen, and it did. And the proof is, the videos are there to show it, that what I understood that that Ram's head doing is exactly what they're doing. And it just so happens to have, it's Trump's third year in a reign, since he was elected into office. We're in the third year, going into the fourth year. You know, because the fourth year would be next year, in January 20th. And this is the first year of the reign, technically, of old King Darius, because the season of rest has happened. Those 8 full years ended on December 24th, and then you went incognito for 10 days until I got you to get back up. And you're talking about that Michael script. I put a damper on the Michael script for you, but Trump went ahead and did the Michael script. So that's why I know where I'm at is I am in a close general vicinity of what you guys are up to. And at the same time, I'm understanding even clearer what God is truly doing now. And it's such a great plan, I'm telling you. It's to have everybody thinking that all this stuff is going to happen because they don't have faith and they're scared is great. Because as soon as God does shine his face upon the land of desolate, no harm done. You know what I mean? People just need to behave for those few days when we're all thrown into the lion's den and into the fiery furnace till 7 times passes over. It heats up the furnace 7 times greater. So it just so happens that in the first year, the reign of Darius, and the third year reign of King Cyrus, Daniel understood the number of years, and the time appointed was long for Cyrus. And then in the first year of the reign of Darius, Daniel, the entire chapter of chapter 9, he's praying to God. And then in the midst of the week, at the height of the covenant, the very end of it, he causes, you know, his face to shine upon the land of desolate. And he causes all the prayers to cease, because he is God, the one that causes all the prayers to cease. Satan causes all the prayers to exponentially get a lot more. So again, it just, the common sense part of it, okay, I mean, hey, if you want to believe it's Satan that causes you to stop praying, well then think about what you're saying there. Think about it. There has never been a time that Satan has caused prayers to cease for the overspreading of the abomination. He causes prayers to exceed, not cease. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. No harm done. I've been through this already plenty of times. I've set my dates, and some things have happened, other things haven't. And but once you know, like, Trump and Steve's script is the same, and once Steve was talking about Michael trying to get ready to just throw out the bait and kind of get you prepared to hear about it, and Michael was going to stand up and help him for 21 days. And man, when I figured that out, I said it immediately. I'm like, nah, I gotta let me do this. And then the next day, Steve's like, damn it, Robin. And then it was like, because that was January 3rd, I believe it was. And then it's like exactly 3 weeks later, 21 days, 22, depending on 21 full days, let's put it that way. 21 full days later, as I made that video on January 3rd saying that Steve was going to have Michael come help him, that's part of his script, right after I said he was going to sing the Rockin' Robin song, which he was going to, he just never produced the song. That was the proof that he was going to sing it. And that's what pissed him off, to give me his timeline between the 60 and 90 days, which is a 30-day decree from the time he was going to come see me. From December 18th, he was talking about 60 to 90 days, and the 60 days happened to land on February 15th, 16th, which is when Trump signed that thing again. And then when I understood the time, and then the 90 days, which lands at the end of winter, the 18th, 19th, 20th, something like that, March. So it's like, that was unscripted, you know what I mean? Steve he didn't mean to do that. I created that situation to make him get up and do the video, because he was pissed, and he said, I've got a prediction for you, Robin. And Robin likes to make predictions. And you know, we're going to see each other face to face. I already know we're going to see each other face to face. It's just a matter of how soon. And I know I'm getting picked up. I'm going to get harpazzoed up out of here, because, well, the elite, they're gonna need to see me. They're gonna need to talk to me. They're gonna need to. We're gonna need to collaborate on how we spread the wealth of the world, and it's gonna be easy. So from that point, when I talked about Michael standing up helping Steve, because he did the video saying Michael was living in a van down by the river, asked him what can he do for him, and I knew it. And I said it, and then exactly 21 days later, 21 full days later, Trump signs the extension for 21 days. I was like, yes! I was that way. I don't know about anybody else, but it doesn't matter. I was that way, because I seen it. Like, wow. Trump and Steve are the same. Confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. So then there's that 21-day period. That's why after that I'm thinking, all right, well, we have a 30-day. We got to be talking about the 30 days and then the 40 days. But then there's the real 21 days. Because, of course, the elite are ahead of the schedule because they have to be. You don't think they're a little nervous right now? Huh? Huh, guy? You a little bit? Little bit? Little nervous? Little bit? I mean, I don't, you know, only if you don't get it. I don't know how God is really truly going to punish you, but I do know that if you believe that you're going to rule the world, and you have the heart that you have right now, which is, you know, it's an evil, wicked heart, and once God shines his face upon the land of desolate, once he your technology in the sky and everything, the heaven rolls open like a scroll, and our new Jerusalem, which is our original sky, which is ironic, appears, and then you guys are scrambling to try to figure out how that happened, and you're going to your switchboards and you're calling people like, what the hell? And I didn't do it. But Robin said it was going to open up. It was him. Go get him. And then that's when you guys are going to start thinking, and you're going to try day in and day out for the next 7 days. You're going to be like, well, I mean, we're still alive. I'm not even hurt. Are you? Wait, how come the rocks didn't fall on us and kill us? I mean, well, I guess we got to kind of spread the wealth. Oh man, I mean, I love looking at all my treasures in that vault that just sit there and collect dust. And then you're gonna realize, all right, Robin, fine. I guess it's not so bad. Whatever. We just share. Who here? I mean, we can't get the freaking sky back on. We can't turn on our technology anymore. Fine. Let's just move on with life. Because God destroyed the towers of Babel. You know, but 7 days has to pass by until you guys wean off of the drug, that high that you guys are on, which is ruling the world. So when your heart is set, dead set on something, and God interrupts it, well, look, I mean, I remember when I was dead set on stealing those rims off that truck, and God had a different plan for me. He's like, no, you're going to jail. I'm like, oh, shit. And that put a damper on my plans, because I planned on having a nice set of wheels for my vehicle that I could have just went to the store and bought the same day, but my dumbass decided to steal it because my heart was not cleansed. So therefore, that's what's going to happen on the 27th day of the second month, which is May 31st. That's when the earth will be dried. The waters will be abated 10 days before that. The second month, the 17th day, which is well, it's May 21st. And May 21st in the morning, that's exactly 150 days from the time that Trump signed the that little, I mean, it's from the time that they did the government shutdown, the 150 days, the 5-month period, the scorpion time, stinging men, searching for death and not finding it. Even though that was, 7 years ago, because it was when men were seeking to die in Christ, and there was none. The only ones that were dying in Christ were the 144 chosen ones, the ones that were handpicked by God within that 5-month period. And so the other people that were in the churches seeking to die in Christ couldn't find it. No, it's not the freaking robots. It's not your brain being uploaded to a computer and you all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to be a robot anymore. Oh crap, I can't die. And I know that the elite, well, they have in mind torturing people to death. I mean, not to death, but torturing people. And as they're being tortured, men are seeking death and they can't find it because it'll flee from them. Because you can't, how are you going to kill yourself when you're like tied up and being tortured to death? So I could see that being part of the elite's plan, and I don't dig that part, but it is what it is. So let's see what's going to happen with Steve. When is he going to appear? That Super Bowl commercial? Yep, it definitely is talking about Steve. A man who was everywhere and nowhere at all, and everything's a lie, and he has new answers to everybody's questions. That commercial is talking about Steve. I should play it, but I don't have time. But then afterwards, the real answers are going to be out there with genuine questions that will be answered after all this happens. So I do see Steve, well, same thing, just about. I see you, Steve. I see you up on the big stage, shooting freaking lightning out of your hands, and somehow you're going to get on the news. Somehow you're going to be, all of a sudden, you're just going to be out there. And I still think that Trump and Netanyahu are playing the two witnesses out. Trump definitely is playing out the Messiah. I mean, you know, it's just what he's playing out. And May 14th, going over there, maybe some kind of bomb happens or something. And then 3.5 days later, Trump and Netanyahu, they stand upon their feet or something like that. And then a great fear falls upon the people of the earth. And then all of a sudden, everything just starts crumbling and crashing down. And all the earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and just everything that is imaginable with our earth collapsing and blaming it on God and saying the meteorites have come through the dome and you know, the area that you can't penetrate, and that they have well, I mean, not they, but God. They're going to blame on God that he's destroying the world, but they are the ones showing these images. And so, you know, you blame it on God. Why not? Act and play out God and then blame it on God. So it's going to be pretty damn exciting, I think. As soon as I see Steve pop up in the mainstream media, yeah, I'm going to record it, and I'm going to be like, I know that guy. My whole family knows who Steve is anyway, because they've seen you playing. I mean, when they watch my videos, they see that you're in a lot, Steve. So they're gonna remember your face, which is gonna be pretty funny too.